What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Eric, and today I'm going to be reviewing Free Guy, starring Ryan Reynolds. This is a film just out in theaters. I checked it out and want to talk about this one because, I just got done reviewing The Suicide Squad, which came out last weekend. And this day and age, very rarely do I get to see a really solid film that I really enjoy 2 weekends in a row, because typically these days movies suck.
It's true.
But I'm glad to say I enjoyed this one. This was another fantastic experience at the theaters, and I'm super happy about that. This comes to us from Disney, and there are a little bit of Disney-fied stuff in here that I'll talk about a little bit later. But all in all, I was really surprised. I had fairly low expectations. All I saw was one trailer for this film, the original trailer that was more of a teaser that I actually saw in theaters before another movie a couple months back. And I just thought, man, this looks dumb. I saw, Ryan Reynolds with the, smiling, walking down the street with explosions and stuff happening. What I didn't know was that was happening within a video game. I had no idea the concept of this movie, but, went to the movies today and I said, well, what's playing? There's really not much new out. I had Ryan Reynolds. I liked him in Deadpool. I like him some other movies. He's a funny guy. I'll give it a shot. It's probably going to be stupid, right? It's probably going to be dumb, completely unrealistic. But I had no idea what I was walking into, and the fact that this is happening within a video game and that he is actually an NPC in that game, a non-playable character, and we kind of get to watch how things happen in that video game, and we also get a lot of glimpses at the real world outside of the video game, and there's characters there that get developed in the real world, and then there's characters within the video game that get developed a little bit, and it turns out to be actually a very solid story, a solid plot, and in my opinion, somewhat realistic in a way, more so than you would think. You would think, okay, this guy coming alive, an NPC player, kind of growing a conscience, doesn't make sense. But it turns out it's an AI, and in the script of the video game was, just so advanced and sophisticated that the character was actually able to start making his own decisions. And it was pretty hilarious how that all went down within the video game. And of course, Ryan Reynolds' humor is pretty much on point in this one. And I'm not going to say it's laugh out loud funny throughout, or that it even was as funny as maybe it wanted to be, but I was certainly laughing constantly, and it was definitely entertaining. But what surprised me the most is there's actually some drama in this film. There's actually some feelings in this film, a little bit of, connection with the real life characters and what's going on. And you actually feel for Ryan Reynolds' character and all the characters within that world, within that video game, because they don't even know that anything's wrong to them. That's just their world. Yes, it's far-fetched, but is it really as far-fetched? If you think about how far we've come with technology and with video games and movies and all that, just in the last 100 years, think of 100 years ago, what movies and everything looked like and what it looks like now, and how far we've come in 100 years. What will it look like? I'm not saying that this movie takes place in the future. I don't believe it does, but I'm just saying it's not like all this is just so far-fetched you couldn't imagine it being possible down the line at some point. And it's pretty cool because it gives the movie an excuse to have things happen that maybe wouldn't be realistic, definitely wouldn't be realistic, stuff that you would see in a Fast and Furious movie and just be like, what? This is so stupid. This could never, would never happen. But within the context of this film, it's a video game. Crazy things happen all the time. The NPC, a non-playable character, just walking to work, explosions happen, it's no big deal. You don't bat an eye. They're used to it. That's their life as an NPC within a video game.
This is the greatest cup of coffee of all time.
Oh! Mondays, am I right, Joe?
You said it, guy.
Yeah.
But what's really cool about this movie is when it would transition from inside the video game world to the real world, where there are characters, computer programmers, and people that we, connect to. There's even a villain who is awesome. It all makes sense even there. Like, things kind of, there's no explosions or anything like that in the real world. This is just computer programmers working at their companies, and there is a problem right there because a couple of the main characters believe that their script, their video game was stolen, their idea and their, execution of the game, the script itself was stolen, and it is within this new game and the game that Ryan Reynolds is in. They just need to find it. So there is an actual plot that drives the movie along. It's not just some mindless, senseless movie that is just there for laughs. There's actually a decent plot. It's a good idea, and it's executed fairly well. I say it sticks the landing for the most part. And again, I'm not going to give spoilers, but I did feel a connection with a lot of these characters. I thought they were well done, well developed, and Guy, as you can see behind me, his friend Buddy, these people these are NPCs, but yeah, you grow to like them quite a bit, and you grow to like the characters you're supposed to, and kind of dislike the characters you're not. There's a villain, he's a little bit over the top, you could say, but not so much, that it's completely unrealistic. And there's also a message in this film. There's multiple messages. Again, it's Disney, but there is a message that happens throughout this film. It's a bit ironic because Disney and other movie studios, should take their own advice on this. But there's this plot where, this guy who is trying to create, an original idea. He wants to make a new video game, but the company and the boss there just says, we're just going to go part two. Part two is the way to go. Just throw this out there. He just wants what he thinks is the guaranteed money instead of really doing something special, making something original. And, there's something to be said there. And I say it's ironic because Disney, with all their remakes and not having an original idea, and of course, this wasn't even originally a Disney property. This was a Fox property, but Disney bought Fox. Therefore, it became theirs. But I'll still give credit. I mean, it has the Disney name on it, and it's definitely a very original idea. I'm not saying there hasn't been other movies, video game-ish, Ready Player One or whatnot, but all in all, I thought just the script was pretty original and a damn good idea, and it executed pretty damn well. There's action both within the video game where the majority of the action takes place, but there's also some action, so to speak, in the real world. Like I said, not crazy explosions because that wouldn't be realistic. We're talking about computer programmers. Nobody's killing anyone. Nobody's blowing up anything. And that makes for a nice contrast. But even in the real world, there's some serious drama, a little bit of action, a little bit of, scenes where there's a ticking clock where, you have to get something done really quick. So there's some drama in the real world. There's craziness in the video game world. Overall, it's just extremely entertaining. Just a really fun movie. Only complaints, I would say, sometimes there's some dialogue exposition that feels like unnecessary, like, conversations that take place. They don't feel all that natural sometimes. There was a conversation that took place, I believe, in either a coffee shop or something like that. This is in the real world, not in the video game world. That whole dialogue was kind of expository and unnatural, and they try to make it natural, but it didn't come across very natural. There's a few scenes like that. It's a pet peeve, honestly. It's just a pet peeve. I talked about how Disney made this movie. I don't know if it was Disney or whatever, but it may bother some people, but there are going to be some lines in here that's going to be kind of, you know how Disney likes to put their, political agenda in films. We've seen them destroy movies in the past, in my opinion. In this movie, they didn't destroy the movie at all, but there's just some lines that you might find annoying. Some terminology you'll hear. You'll hear the term white privilege in this movie. You'll hear the hierarchy. You'll hear some references about gun violence in the real world. And thirdly, there are some scenes towards the end that could be considered a little overly cheesy within the video game world, mostly. The way some of the NPCs behave towards the end, it just kind of seems sudden and a little bit cheesy. But a lot of the script is cheesy, but doesn't come across so cheesy because of just good and strong execution by the actors, the directing, and overall, it's not a cheesy movie. There's just a couple of scenes toward the end that a little cheesified. All in all, though, this was a freaking fun movie. I would highly recommend to check it out. This is something I'll definitely own on Blu-ray. And I don't have a lot of complaints. Even all those complaints I just said were nitpicks. They honestly are nitpicks. This was just so much better than I expected. The drama, the acting, the action, the comedy was not maybe quite as funny as they wanted it to be, at least not for me. For some people it will be. My theater laughed quite a bit. I thought it was pretty funny throughout, but just not like ha 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 ha. I thought this movie was damn good, damn solid all the way through. I mean, yes, a few nitpicks, but I mean, what do you expect? I mean, as far as expectations, and this thing just exceeded them by miles, exceeded my expectations by miles. I thought that this was going to be pretty stupid, and I just hoped for a couple laughs. Instead, I got something just very solid all around. I'm going to say that this movie is freaking awesome. Guys, please check this one out if you get a chance. Free guy. Don't be scared that it's a Disney property. It's a great script, great acting, great comedy, great action, great drama, all the way around. The way the film ended seemed pretty appropriate and very nicely done. I didn't see it coming. It was somewhat unpredictable. A little bit maybe. I mean, it was one idea of what might happen, but I had multiple ideas of what might happen. And I didn't really know which one it would be. So turned out to be a very satisfactory ending and a really good movie. So guys, check this one out if you get a chance. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. Please hit that subscribe button and hit that thumbs up button if you don't mind. I would really appreciate it. And we're going to talk to y'all very, very soon. See ya.